Hey, 7th graders. Continuing our look with probability type problems, today is population samples and generalizing from a sample to a population. And then lesson 14, selecting a sample. So when data from a population are used to calculate a numerical number summary, the value is called a population characteristic. When data from a sample are used to calculate a numerical summary, the value is called a sample statistic. Okay, so two different ones, population characteristic, sample statistic. Sample statistics can be used to learn about population characteristics. So a population could be a pot of soup. A sample is a teaspoon of the soup. Population could be all batteries of a certain brand. Sample is the group of batteries put in flashlights and timed to determine how long they last. Okay, so give examples of what you would do if you had to collect data to investigate the following statistical question using either a sample statistic or a population characteristic. So the first one is pretty simple, just like we just saw. You would taste a spoonful of soup to check it. That would be sample. How many movies do students in your class see in a month? You can ask them to write them down and see, and then collect their responses and figure that out. That would be more like a population one. And then what is the typical lifespan of a particular brand of flashlight battery? Again, same thing, so this would be sample. Taking some of the batteries of that brand, put them in flashlights, time how long they last. Okay, so population is the entire set of objects, people, animals, plants, excuse me, from which data might be collected. A sample is a subset of the population. Or the following population or sample. 54% of the responders to a poll at a university indicated that wealth needed to be distributed more evenly among people. Would that be population or sample? That one's going to be sample because the population would be all of the students at the university, but it's just a portion of them. So subset. Next one, did most people living in New York in 2010 have at least a high school education? Based on the data collected from all New York residents, in 2010 by the U.S. Census Bureau, 84.6% of people living in New York had at least a high school education. Now this would be population because it's said collected from all of the residents, and then 84.6 would be the population characteristic because it's a part of the population. Like it's describing them. It's a characteristic of them. All right. Now, this is going to be choosing a sample. So would any of the following provide a random sample of letters used in the text of the book Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, using the first letter of every word of a randomly chosen paragraph? That would be not random because some letters, that should say uncommon letters, I think. But U is not very common as the first letter of a word, so it might be underrepresented. Next, number all the letters of all of the letters in the words in a paragraph of the book. Cut out the numbers, put them in a bag, then choose a random set from the bag to identify. That would be random because you're taking more of a chance to have more numbers, and you're putting them all together. Having a family member or friend write down a list of his favorite words. Count the number of times each of the letters occurs. That would not be random because they might like words that rhyme or start with the same letter. And it also might not even include books or words that are in the book. So that would be a random sample. Great. So your assignment is going to be completing the Edmodo questions for lesson 13 and 14. The questions will be asking you whether it's a population characteristic or a sample statistic, and then whether or not it's a random sample. Okay, so that's what you just saw there. Random or not random. Basically, with a random sample, you want it to be not an equal chance, but a likely chance that you have like random things. Like if I only put blue things in a bag, I'm going to get a blue thing no matter what. But if I put something of every color of the rainbow and I pick one, it's going to be random. Okay? Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a fantastic Wednesday.